The geopolitical landscape of the Middle East has undergone a seismic shift as the United States military executes a series of precision strikes that have effectively dismantled the Iranian regime's long-standing stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz. For decades, Tehran operated under the assumption that its specialized arsenal of fast attack craft and coastal missile batteries afforded it total impunity within this vital maritime corridor. However, that calculation was proven catastrophically wrong this week, following a massive aerial campaign characterized by the deployment of the military's most advanced deep penetration ordnance. In a high-stakes demonstration of tactical superiority, the United States has utilized 5,000-pound bunker-buster bombs to surgically strike hardened Iranian positions along the Hormuz coastline, a move that military analysts suggest has permanently altered the strategic balance of power in the region. The strait, which serves as the primary artery for the world's energy supply, has been declared open once more, as American forces clear the path for commercial shipping to resume transit without the looming threat of Iranian interference. This operation was anchored by the combat debut of a specialized munition designed specifically to neutralize the subterranean infrastructure that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has spent years perfecting. United States Central Command, or CENTCOM, took to social media on March 17th to provide the first official confirmation of these events, detailing a mission that targeted deep-seated missile silos and command centers hidden within the rugged coastal cliffs. According to the official statement from CENTCOM, U.S. forces successfully employed numerous 5,000-pound deep penetration projectiles against these hardened sites, noting that the Iranian anti-ship cruise missiles stationed there represented an unacceptable risk to international maritime navigation. While the initial report was concise, the broader implications of this strike are vast, touching upon advanced weapons technology, global economic stability, and the total degradation of Iran's coastal defense capabilities. The destruction of these launch sites is being hailed by defense experts as a monumental step in securing the freedom of navigation. For years, the Iranian regime utilized these coastal enclaves to project power and terrorize commercial tankers attempting to navigate the narrow waters of the Strait of Hormuz. The ultimate objective of the American intervention is the permanent restoration of this vital choke point, which had been effectively throttled by Iranian aggression. As reported by major international outlets like The Telegraph, the Iranian strategy relied on a multi-layered approach to maritime denial. This included the use of swarming tactics, involving small, highly maneuverable fast boats equipped with surface missiles and other light weaponry, which would dart in and out of the strait to harass and seize commercial vessels. While these fast boats present a persistent nuisance, the United States military maintained that they could be managed through continuous aerial presence, specifically citing the deployment of A-10 Warthog ground attack aircraft to patrol the waters. The far more significant and long-term threat, however, resided in Iran's land-based anti-ship cruise missile systems. These weapons, including the Qadir and Qadir variants, are mounted on mobile truck launchers, allowing them to be hidden in plain sight or moved rapidly between underground facilities. Unlike launches or fastboats, which are easily targeted on the open water, these mobile missile units are notoriously difficult to neutralize once they have been deployed or launched. Iran's missile reach within the strait is comprehensive, with systems capable of striking targets at distances ranging from 12 miles to 186 miles, effectively covering every square inch of the waterway from the Gulf of Oman to the Persian Gulf. Perhaps most concerning was the presence of the Abu Mahdi cruise missile, a powerful weapon with a reported range of 621 miles, extending Iran's threat envelope far beyond the immediate coastline and into the deeper waters of the Arabian Sea. When these cruise missiles are integrated with the Hormuz II and Persian Gulf ballistic missiles, both of which utilize satellite navigation to target moving ships at ranges of 186 miles, the result is a dense, lethal web of maritime denial that the United States determined had to be eliminated. While destroying the missiles themselves is a priority, the U.S. military strategy shifted toward a more permanent solution: destroying the launchers and the hardened shelters that house them. The fundamental challenge for American planners has been the fact that Iran conceals these launchers within an extensive network of tunnels and mountain bunkers, rendering them virtually immune to conventional bombardment. These sites were specifically engineered to withstand standard airstrikes, utilizing the natural geography of the Iranian coast as a shield. Despite the sensitivity of these operations and the occasional reluctance of mainstream media and social media algorithms to highlight the full scale of the conflict, the reality on the ground is undeniable. The United States required a specific category of weapon to penetrate these geological defenses, and it found that solution in the newly developed GBU-72. These are the 5,000-pound deep penetration projectiles referenced by CENTCOM, and they represent the pinnacle of a growing arsenal designed to defeat hardened and deeply buried targets. The use of such bunker busters against Iran is not entirely unprecedented within the context of the ongoing Operation Epic Fury. Earlier phases of the campaign saw the use of the 30,000-pound Massive Ordnance Penetrator, or MOP, against the Taliban II nuclear facility, as well as the use of 2,000-pound penetrators against various fortified sites across the country. However, the deployment of the GBU-72 on the Hormuz coast marks a significant evolution in the conflict. National security analysts, including former Navy intelligence officer H. Camber, have noted that this appears to be the first operational use of this specific 5,000-pound munition. Speaking to news outlets, Camber emphasized that the United States has spent years refining this technology, with the specific intent of targeting countries like Iran that rely heavily on subterranean military infrastructure. He explained that while some bunkers are buried so deep that even a 200-foot penetration might not reach the primary chambers, every underground facility is vulnerable at its points of egress. By targeting the entrances, exits, and transit tunnels, the GBU-72 effectively entombs the equipment and personnel inside, rendering the anti-ship batteries useless without needing to vaporize every square inch of the facility. This functional defeat strategy is precisely what is being executed along the Strait of Hormuz to ensure that Iran's missile ramps never see the light of day again. While some aviation experts, such as David Souza of the War Zone, have pointed to reports suggesting the GBU-72 may have been tested or used in limited capacities previously, notably a 2024 report involving Houthi targets in Yemen, the scale and impact of the current strikes in Iran are on a different level entirely. If the 2024 reports were accurate, it means the Iranian regime and its proxies have had a preview of this weapon's power and yet remained powerless to develop a countermeasure. The GBU-72 is a technological marvel in the realm of kinetic bombardment. It was developed to replace the aging GBU-28, a weapon that first gained fame during the 1991 Gulf War. While the GBU-28 was revolutionary for its time, the 3 decades since its introduction have seen significant advancements in concrete reinforcement and bunker design, necessitating a more modern successor. The GBU-72 was first unveiled by the U.S. Air Force in 2021, following successful test drops from an F-15E Strike Eagle. Recent intelligence and photographic evidence also show B-1B Lancer bombers carrying GBU-72s on external pylons, indicating that the U.S. has multiple delivery platforms available for these devastating strikes. Currently, B-1 bombers are stationed at RAF Fairford in the United Kingdom, standing by for further missions as the campaign progresses. The technical specifications of the GBU-72 reveal why it is such a feared asset. It combines the BLU-138B penetrator warhead with a specialized Joint Direct Attack Munition, or JDAM tail kit. This kit utilizes a sophisticated blend of GPS and inertial navigation systems, allowing the bombs to be released from significant standoff distances. This capability is crucial as it allows American pilots to deliver their payload while remaining outside the reach of Iran's air defense systems. Not that those defenses currently pose a significant threat. Following the combined effects of Operation Epic Fury and the Israeli-led Operation Roaring Lion, it is estimated that approximately 85% of Iran's integrated air defense network has been neutralized. What remains of Tehran's surface-to-air capabilities consists mostly of isolated point defenses that are easily bypassed or overwhelmed. The warhead itself utilizes a powerful combination of AFX-757 and PBXN-109 explosives, a recipe similar to that used in the massive 30,000-pound MOP, optimized for maximum blast effect within confined spaces. While the exact penetration depth remains classified, it is widely believed that the GBU-72 far exceeds the capabilities of the GBU-28, which could punch through 15 feet of reinforced concrete and 150 feet of earth. By collapsing the tunnel networks used to move missile launchers, the U.S. military has achieved its goal of neutralizing the threat with surgical precision. While 2,000-pound bombs might have achieved similar results if used in large quantities, the 5,000-pound GBU-72 allowed the Air Force to complete the mission more quickly and with fewer sorties, striking Iran with maximum force. Reports from sources like RBC Ukraine suggest that the U.S. may have dropped as many as 48 of these bombs during the recent demolition of the Hormuz sites. Given the payload capacity, it is highly likely that B-1B Lancers provided the bulk of the firepower, as each Lancer can carry up to 12 of these munitions, whereas an F-15E is typically limited to 1. This concentration of force allowed for the simultaneous destruction of multiple complexes, leaving the Iranian coastal defense forces in a state of total disarray. The timing of this escalation is no coincidence. Since the inception of Operation Epic Fury on February 28, Iran has desperately sought to leverage its geographical position to force a cessation of hostilities. By attempting to block the Strait of Hormuz, through which 27% of the world's seaborne energy flows, Tehran hoped to create a global economic crisis. These efforts were partially successful in the short term, with oil prices surging past $100 per barrel as insurance rates for tankers skyrocketed. The New York Post and other outlets have highlighted how Iran used a cocktail of mines, drones, and missiles to stall global commerce. At least 20 commercial vessels have been targeted in and around the strait since the conflict began, creating a bottleneck that threatened the stability of the global market. Iran's belief that it could pressure Washington through energy blackmail has been met with a firm and kinetic response. Even as internal American political figures debate the role of international alliances, with President Donald Trump criticizing NATO for its perceived lack of involvement, the alliance itself is showing signs of movement. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has stated that allies are actively seeking a resolution to the Hormuz crisis, and reports from Axios indicate that 7 U.S. allies are preparing to form a coalition to patrol the waterway. However, until such a coalition is fully realized, the burden of security remains with the United States. The consequences for Iran are now becoming clear. Its impenetrable coastal fortresses have been shattered, its missile launchers are buried under tons of rubble, and its ability to dictate the terms of passage through the Strait of Hormuz has evaporated. If the regime continues to attempt to use drones or other irregular assets to threaten the waterway, they will likely face an even more aggressive phase of the campaign. The message from the United States is unambiguous. The Strait of Hormuz is open, and the technology now exists to ensure it stays that way permanently. The Iranian regime's reliance on subterranean geography has met its match in the GBU-72, a weapon that has effectively rewritten the rules of coastal warfare. As Operation Epic Fury continues, the focus now shifts to the remaining Iranian military assets and whether the regime will choose further escalation or a total withdrawal from its aggressive maritime posture. For now, the thunder of 5,000-pound penetrators has silenced the missile batteries of the IRGC, providing a clear corridor for the world's energy and commerce to flow once again. This has been a comprehensive report on the changing dynamics of the Strait of Hormuz and the introduction of new American military capabilities. Would you like me to provide a detailed technical breakdown of the GBU-72's guidance system compared to previous generations of bunker busters?